Now let's talk about details. So details kind of do the opposite of establishing shots, right? They're not this really wide overall view of an entire space, but really hyper-focusing in on just one element of a space. But the goal is the same. It's to convey an emotion. It's to go beyond just photographic evidence that an object exists. It'll be no surprise that photographers accomplish this the same way they accomplish everything else, through light, composition, and moment. You can accomplish so much with the right lighting, and window lighting can be really useful for objects. If you have an object that you can move around, that you want to move to a space, move it into some nice window light, the same as you did with the portrait. But also photographing at the right time of day outside can do wonders for details. Sunlight, when it's at the right angle, can really create some nice textures in detail shots. For composition, you should be getting pretty close to the object you're photographing. And it's okay to use kind of that portrait focal length, around that 50mm focal length, if you have a lens where you can kind of zoom in a little bit. Now, a problem that you might run into is something called minimum focus distance. So most lenses can't actually focus on objects that are closer than about a foot away. Some lenses can't focus on anything closer than 2 feet away. So if you're trying to get a picture of something that's, really close to your lens like this, it's not going to be able to focus. Now there is something that's called a macro lens. Maybe you have one. I assume most of you don't. That's useful for getting really close to something, but that's like a particular kind of lens that you might not have access to. So if you're photographing something and you're just having a hard time getting focus, it might just be because you're too close. It might be you just need to back up a little bit. Another cool thing that you'll notice as you get close to objects that you're photographing is you're going to get some of that background focus separation. And that's really kind of the third way to achieve that focus separation that so many people are after when they get into photography. So we know that opening up the aperture, right, can create that focus separation, right, where the background is way out of focus, but the thing you're photographing is in focus. Also zooming in, that focal length that's zoomed in a little bit more, kind of that portrait focal length, that can also give you that background separation. And the other thing is proximity. Getting close to an object can give you that focus separation with whatever's in the background. And this works with phone cameras too. So if you get close to something on your phone, just because of the mechanics of how lenses work, that thing that you're close to is going to be in focus and everything else is going to be really nicely out of focus. With details, that fundamental of moment is going to apply in much the same way it does with establishing shots, right? It's all about time of day. But details can also be photographs of people, of animals, of things that are moving, and those are really interesting moments too. Again, as usual for this assignment, you'll take no fewer than 50 photos. And if you're photographing just one object, I want you to take 50 photos of just that one object. Really stretch yourself here. And it's okay if some of the photos are abstract. It's okay if I can't tell actually what it is that you've photographed in these images. But again, just turn in up to 5. After you've taken those photos, save them to your hard drive using Bridge. Select your 5 favorites using Bridge. Open them up in Photoshop. You can convert them in black and white or keep them in color if you want. You can make some minor changes, some adjustments. That's fine. Save those edited photos to that submissions folder, and then submit those photos that you selected to Blackboard. I hope you have fun with this. Good luck.